How does that look on the shared screen, my brother?
We need to build a wall, and it has to be built quickly.
Good morning. It is 9:07. Oh, no, it's 9:05. Already making mistakes from the home studio, but we're connected, so that's a good sign. My name's Chris Hand. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. The show is brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. If you need a water filtration system or a water softener, you always get it at betterwater.com. Another great morning here, doing it live from the home studio. Got to make the kids pancakes before I sent them off to school, so that's a massive win for me and the family this morning, and I appreciate all the patience from our wonderful engineering staff with the hiccup that we had yesterday. But we're rocking today live from the home studio, broadcasting from Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And we're very excited to have you here with us, however you may be joining us, whether you're on the iHeartRadio app, the TuneIn app, the FM dial, whether you're listening or watching us on Super Talk TV, which is on YouTube and Rumble. Hit like, hit subscribe, share the show with your friends. We got a lot to get to today. We could probably spend the entire show on the cabinet meeting that happened yesterday. I won't. I'll try my best. But we could. 3.5 hours yesterday, Donald Trump with a cabinet meeting, with the press, taking questions. Just an unprecedented upgrade from what we saw before. The guy before would call a lid by 10:30 in the morning. The guy before would have his staff rush the press out of the room, screaming no questions. This guy now, 45, 47, sits there and takes as many questions as you got. It's really unbelievable. Now, as they got into the cabinet meeting yesterday, they really wanted to highlight a bunch of the Trump administration wins. And you have to highlight the wins, because if you don't, the mainstream media is not going to do it for you. So that's what Donald Trump did. And he started by talking about how wages are up for blue-collar workers. They're rising at the fastest rate in 60 years.
So important to all of us around this table. The average American worker has already seen a $500 wage increase this year, and there's no inflation because there's been decreases, tremendous decreases with, thanks to Doug and Chris and some of the people, the great job they've done with energy. Thank you very much. And Chris, thank you very much. I see you down close to $60 a barrel, and you'll be breaking that pretty soon.
I mean, the energy costs are going to ripple through the economy faster than anything else. And I think that's why we see a lot of the inflation numbers cooling off, because Trump has unleashed American energy. But the wages rising is a big deal. As much as we can hope and pray that the Trump administration brings prices down, that's a lot harder of a climb than I believe raising wages is going to be. And the president has thrown his full focus into raising wages and creating good paying jobs for American citizens. We haven't even seen the fruit from it yet. We haven't even seen the fruit. That's coming. The investment that we're seeing, the jobs that are going to be created is going to be massive. And when that competition for American employment happens, that wage growth is going to be there. So I'm very excited. And the president's very excited as well. Wage growth is going up. And again, those jobs that he's creating, we haven't seen the fruit from. He was talking during the cabinet meeting about the massive new data center that Mark Zuckerberg is creating. And I don't know about you, but I didn't realize how big these things were. To put it into perspective, President Trump showed a picture of the data center while he's in this cabinet meeting, and he said, guys, this is as big as Manhattan. These data centers are as big as Manhattan.
This is something given to me by Mark Zuckerberg, and you'll see this is AI now. These are, I never understood. I said, well, because I built shopping centers, and for $50 million, you can build a very nice shopping center. So I never understood when they said $50 billion for a plant. I said, the hell kind of a plant is that? But when you look at this, you understand why it's $50 billion. So this is one he's building in Louisiana. That's Meta, Facebook, as people understand it to be. But look at that. That's the size of Manhattan.
Now, if you're not watching on the YouTube stream, he has a data center superimposed over a satellite map of Manhattan. And it takes up all of Manhattan. I had no idea these data centers were this large, but they are. And think about it. If you're creating a data center the size of Manhattan, well, that's a lot of construction jobs. I'm sure that's a lot of jobs inside that data center as well. And those jobs are going to be going to, you guessed it, Americans.
So that's superimposed over the island of Manhattan. It takes up a big part of Manhattan. I think they say 81% of Manhattan. So these are big things, and they're going up. A lot of them are going up now. I don't know that big. Actually, Mark is building 4 of them, and others are building similar places.
It's insane. It's insane. Again, we haven't seen the fruit from the investments that are coming in because of the Trump administration. We're going to, and give it 6 months or a year, we're going to look left, we're going to look right, and we're going to go, this economy is absolutely rocking. It's already doing really well under the president, but it's only going to get better. It really is. And you can point to his reshoring of manufacturing. You can point to the cutting of regulation, making businesses, making it attractive for a business to come back here. And you can point to the tariffs. If you can't get them with the carrot, get them with the stick, right? So if you want to do stuff overseas, that's fine, but you're going to have a lot of tariffs. And you're going to pay through the nose. Or you could do it here. Now, a lot of those tariffs have been on steel, aluminum. We got tariffs coming in on copper. And people said, man, this is a crazy idea. Are you sure it's going to work, Mr. President? And he stood strong. He said, yeah, I'm sure. Yesterday at the cabinet meeting, he revealed that domestic steel production is up by 100,000 tons a week. I'll say that again. Domestic steel production is up by 100,000 tons per week.
Domestic steel production is up by 100,000 tons of steel a week. We have a 50% tariff on steel, aluminum, and various other things. Copper just got brought into the picture.
Yep.
And that means people are going to want to make steel here. We just made a deal with U.S. Steel. As you know, we have an outside company come in, spend $17 billion on building new plants, new everything. It's great, and it stays right here in America. So we're doing amazingly well.
Stays right here in America. Stays right here in America. It's music to your ears, isn't it? It seems like we do have a president who is putting a priority on America and the American citizens. Now, there's some hiccups, and we'll talk about that later on, especially when it comes to the willingness to import 600,000 Chinese students. Nobody's saying that this guy is going to be perfect. Nobody is. And we'll criticize him where it's due, like we always do here on Super Talk. But you got to give him credit where credit is due at the exact same time. And the president is doing numbers. Not numbers like the last administration. See, when Biden touted job growth, it was revised down a month later, and then we find out that the jobs that he's adding are only government jobs. Now, I understand that the jobs numbers weren't exactly the best last time. They weren't bad by any stretch of the imagination. But what we're seeing is that the jobs that are being created in the Trump administration are going to American citizens, which is massive, and they're not government jobs that do nothing, like we saw in the Biden administration. The Biden administration, they really greased the wheels on those job numbers by creating a bunch of bureaucratic positions that do absolutely nothing and benefit absolutely no one. That's changed with President Trump.
Since the inauguration, we've created over 500,000 new private jobs. And if you notice, when the numbers come out, government jobs are going down and private jobs are coming up. And that's what really fuels the country. It's easy to hire people and pay them for doing something that maybe is not very productive.
Yep.
But government jobs are down, actually substantially down, and private jobs are way up. And these are the jobs that make money, create a better life. Meanwhile, we've reduced the number of federal bureaucrats by 84,000.
That's a big number. Reducing the number of federal bureaucrats by 84,000. You remember a couple weeks back? I think it was a couple months back, the protests, all the bureaucrats. They took our jobs. They did, and nothing of value was lost.
So we got rid of 84,000, and I think the job numbers, you're going to see the new job numbers are going to be through the roof because of all of the different businesses that are moving into our country. And not just production businesses, autos and AI, but any business you can think of.
Any business you can think of. And we haven't seen the fruit from the trade deals yet. You see, what President Trump is also doing while he's reshoring manufacturing, he's opening up international markets. The EU, Japan. We had the South Korean president here the other day working on trade deals. This is something that can't be understated as well. Getting our American-made cars sold in Europe, that's going to create a lot of jobs. That's going to create a lot of revenue. And it's going to be really wild to see little Europeans driving Ford F-150s. But the trade deals, again, another thing that can't be undersold with Donald Trump in the first 8 months of this administration, and they touted the success of those trade deals yesterday at that 3.5-hour-long cabinet meeting.
We secured new market access for American agricultural exports all over the world. Our secretary is doing a great job. Thank you, Brooke. And we have negotiated historic trade deals with the United Kingdom, China, Indonesia, Vietnam, the Philippines, Japan, South Korea, who was here yesterday, and the European Union. Foreign nations are now paying hundreds of billions of dollars straight into our treasury, and numbers that nobody's ever seen before.
This is what we need. This is what we voted for. Let's open up the American economy to the globe. Let's break down the trade barriers. Let's break down what's been holding us back, and let's start cooking at full strength. We're not at full strength yet. We're just not. We haven't seen the fruit of the trade deals with the EU, with Japan, with Korea, with Vietnam. We haven't seen it, but we will. Oh, we will. And when we see it, this economy is going to be absolutely on fire. If only Jerome Powell could cut some interest rates. Looks like he's going to in September. But we need this. We need to put America first. And Donald Trump at the cabinet meeting saying yesterday, that's exactly what we've done. That's exactly what we've done. And you can look at the numbers. The American people know what's going on. And Donald Trump broke down those numbers. When you look at what the president's doing and what the Democrats are fighting against, it's really turned off a lot of voters. The Democrats are hemorrhaging support. And everybody knows it, except for, well, the Democrats.
We're putting America first, and we're going to be putting the America worker first. And, you know, the Republican Party has picked up 4 million new people, 4 million. The Democrats have lost 2.5 million. Other than that, they're extremely happy. No, they're very depressed.
Other than that, they're doing pretty well. They're doing okay. That's hilarious. This guy, he brought the jokes yesterday. Rubio did too, and we'll bring you some of those highlights as well. But I think it's important as we go throughout the day that we got to be the mouthpiece touting the wins for this administration. The mainstream media is not going to do it. They're just not. When you talk about all the wins that the president have had, it's almost hard for us to keep track here at Super Talk. How do we keep track with the record number of investments that we're seeing in America? How do we keep track of all these trade deals? We got to do our best, and we got to shout it from the mountaintops, because the American people need to understand that Donald Trump is out there working for them. And again, I think they do. I think they understand the American people, that is. The Democrats, very confused. Very confused. Last night on CNN, Scott Jennings versus a liberal commentator. And the liberal is claiming that Trump and the GOP's approval ratings have cratered. And Scott Jennings, he couldn't help but just laugh in this guy's face.
It's pretty clear that despite the fact that Donald Trump has cratered, Republican, their brand has cratered, the Democratic brand has not recovered, and it's because
what are you talking about? What is the Democratic approval rating? Come on, be honest.
It's like 19%, 12%, right? Like the Democratic approval rating is in the basement where Joe Biden hid during the 2020 campaign. I think that's actually giving them a little bit too much credit. The Democrats have no idea what they're doing currently. The Trump administration is highlighting the wins. The Democrats are highlighting the insanity. These two things are not the same. The Democrats right now are fighting against President Trump for making cities safe again, stopping murders in D.C. I don't think the American people are going to get behind that. But let's listen to these radical leftists on CNN as they try and explain why Trump's support has cratered.
Be honest, brother. Come on. What's the Democratic approval rating and what's Donald Trump? Come on, man.
Scott and I actually might agree on part of this. The Democratic effort is very much dependent upon rebuilding trust with voters. And I think the way you do that is you show that you have the ability to fight. You show you have a consistent thing to say. And I think that's in progress. And I think Democrats would be wise to not ignore that.
Yeah, that's in progress. Have a consistent thing to say. Orange man bad. That's pretty consistent. That's pretty consistent. It's not going to win anything, but it's been consistent. It's been consistent. We got a lot more to cover on the show today, and we ask you to join us wherever you can. iHeartRadio, tune in, the FM dial. You can watch us as well. Would love to get your input on the new home studio here in Murfreesboro on YouTube and Rumble. We're live. Join us. Hit like, hit subscribe, do all the things, and we'll be back with more from the cabinet meeting, plus an interesting tidbit from RFK Jr. that the mainstream media is really burying their heads in the sand about. We'll talk about it next, right here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand for my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, and they're kicking off the school year with the buzz and some big savings. We actually just sent our kids off to school this morning. Got to make them pancakes. It's awesome. And while we're sitting in this comfortable AC that Busy Bee always services, I'm thinking about the great deals. Like if you have septic issues right now, you can save 15% off any septic work, main drain lines, or whole home repipes just in time for the new school year. You can upgrade your HVAC system, and if you do it right now, you'll be automatically entered to win the Healthy Hive giveaway. That's a $1,500 sponsorship to the local school of your choice. That's a big deal. And if you want to grease the wheels with that new teacher, coach, or faculty member in your student's life, you buy one Beehive Club membership, you get to gift one for free. It's an awesome deal, and it's only from Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Give them a call today, 615-775-7833. That's 615-775-7833, or you can schedule your service online, busybeehvac.com. Let's talk about the Democratic frontrunner for mayor of Minneapolis, shall we? His name is Omar Fateh, and he held a big rally in Minneapolis. And I don't know if you can tell by the video, but there's a stunning lack of American flags and a stunning lack of English being spoken at this rally. Now, the reason Omar is the frontrunner is because the last mayor, Jacob Frey, wasn't woke enough.
As for cooperation with ICE, the answer is no.
This is a guy who actually cried at George Floyd's golden casket. Still not woke enough. Now, the uproar online led to some great questions from one Charlie Kirk. I want to know what you think about it in the comments. Charlie says, how are these people bettering America? Does it look like these people in Minneapolis are assimilating to American culture? And then we have to ask a very important question. What is an American?
The Federal Reserve and the president, well, they appear to be headed to court. And if you plan on traveling this Labor Day weekend, yeah, you're going to have a whole lot of company. We'll have that and more coming up at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
It's 9:27 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm watching you guys in the YouTube chat critiquing the new home studio. Do you hear what they're saying about my lighting? They say it's too dark.
Saying you're guys, in the dark there.
They're too used to the bright lights of the Super Talk studio. This lighting is money.
Use the word bright. I think you misused that. I think it's blaring and blinding is what it is in the studio.
Exactly. Take it from a guy that sits in there. It absolutely is. So you guys are wrong about the lighting, but that's okay. We love you anyway. And I appreciate you guys watching us on YouTube and Rumble. All right, real quick. RFK Jr., autism. We're going to find out what's causing it in September. That's like a week away. Let's go.
Bobby, autism, if I could, I don't want to go too long because we have a lot of people, but the autism is such a tremendous horror show, what's happening in our country and some other countries, but mostly our country. How are you doing on that?
We are doing very well. We will have announcements as promised in September. We're finding certain interventions now that are clearly, almost certainly causing autism.
We're finding interventions now that are clearly, almost certainly the cause of autism. And we're going to have our findings out in September. This is why I think RFK has to be in the discussion for MVP of the Trump cabinet. Now, if you follow the conversation online, a lot of people say, you know how he got to this kind of resolution on this so quickly. It's because he didn't have to do new research. He had to find the buried research.
And we're going to be able to address those in September.
It's such a big day. I'm looking forward to that day because there's something wrong when you see the kind of numbers that you have today versus 20 years ago. And those numbers, what are those numbers, Bob?
Oh, in 1970, the biggest epidemiological study in history was done in Wisconsin. They looked at 900,000 children, and they were looking for autism. They knew what it looked like, and they were very, very precise about it, and they found an incident rate of 0.7, in other words, less than 1 per every 10,000 children. Today, our most recent numbers are 1 in every 31 kids. It's probably actually much worse than that because California, which has the best collection system, is reporting 1 out of every 19 children, American children, has autism, 1 in every 12.5 boys.
The numbers are staggering. It's heartbreaking. And RFK Jr. wants to fix this. And yet I still see disillusioned liberals out there losing their minds about Bobby Kennedy, calling him an evil man. And it's like, guys, kids don't have a political affiliation. They don't. He wants to help all the kids, whether they're Democrat or Republican, black, white, Asian, or other. He's looking out for kids in general, and he's doing good work. I pray to God that we get some answers here in September that are conclusive, and I pray to God that we can see this autism epidemic erased in my lifetime. It's 9:31. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Yes, it is 31 minutes past the hour, and I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. We will get you a rather nice weather forecast here shortly. The Federal Reserve, they released a statement yesterday asserting their independence, though they have still not said whether board member Lisa Cook is still on board at the agency. President Trump is trying to fire her for cause, alleging that she committed mortgage fraud. She's denying any wrongdoing. ABC's Lionel Moisey reports on what is at stake.
The power struggle between President Trump and the Federal Reserve set to play out in court as Trump moves to fire board governor Lisa Cook amid his push to get the Fed to lower interest rates.
We'll have a majority very shortly.
Cook was appointed by President Biden, one of 7 board members. 2 were appointed by Trump, with a third nominated to replace a member who just retired. If the president is allowed to replace Cook, his appointees would then make up the majority.
This weekend, of course, is Labor Day weekend, and it's expected to be a big one for travel. Air travel is expected to be quite crowded, with the TSA saying about 17 million people could be screened, and the roadways, they're not going to be much better. Here's more now from ABC's Rena Roy.
Although flights and cruises are popular ways to travel this weekend, AAA expects many travelers to stay closer to home, taking road trips to nearby beaches or national parks. Their advice, leave early to beat the backups. And good news at the pump, gas prices are expected to stay below last year's levels. For those who haven't made plans yet, last-minute flight deals are hard to find, but deals on hotels and rental cars are still out there.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News.
But a lot of these protesters are paid. There's a story, Crowds on Demand CEO, 400% increase, surge for requests for paid protesters.
Yep. Protester requests have increased 400% since President Trump announced the federal takeover of D.C.'s police department.
No, none of this. I mean, we've seen this time and time again, where they've got all of these different protests and goes on. Where it feels like it's every couple of weeks they've got another protest going on.
It is time to unite, not to fight each other the way they want us to do.
And they keep offering, looking for people to protest. And I don't think there's this groundswell of anger that they're trying to convince the American people that there is.
And the Chris Hand Show is brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners. Mason, any idea why we would need those?
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
It's a reason. It's a reason. BetterWater.com. Patriots, we love those guys. A lot of talk yesterday at the 3.5-hour cabinet meeting about crime. This is a winning issue for the conservatives, 100%. It's not even a 97-3. It's not an 80-20. It's 100-0. This is a winning issue. And the Democrats are falling right into the president's trap. They're once again defending criminals while President Trump wants to defend American citizens. It's poetry, what we're witnessing. It's almost like he planned the entire thing, which I'm sure he did. But it was a big topic of conversation yesterday at the cabinet meeting. And we got to hear a story from Iris Tao. Iris Tao is a reporter, young Asian female, and she's telling a story about how she was a victim of violent crime in D.C., how she thought she might never see her family again, and she thanks President Trump for making D.C. safe again.
So first of all, thank you, Mr. President.
You want to listen to this?
For having me here to share my story to the room and to the broader public. My name is Iris Tao. I'm a White House correspondent for NTD, the sister media of the Epoch Times. So more than 2 years ago, it was a Saturday morning in broad daylight. I was on my way to work, and a young man with a black ski mask pointed a gun in my face and threatened me to hand over my phone, my wallet, my laptop, and everything else.
Saturday morning, bright and early, Washington, D.C., robbed at gunpoint. Is that how the nation's capital should be? Absolutely not. But that was the reality for so many years. And while Joe Biden was in office, he pretended that the problem didn't even exist. Donald Trump is not playing those games. Donald Trump's fixing this problem. But Iris Tao shares more of her horrifying ordeal.
And when I refused, he used the butt of his handgun to strike me across the face, in the cheek, or what some people call pistol whip me.
Nothing says Saturday morning in D.C. like a pistol whipping, right?
Before running away. That has deeply traumatized myself and my family. Ever since, I've never dared to walk in the street of D.C. at night, ever. And my family was extremely worried. So, Mr. President, thank you so much for what you're doing right now.
Thank you for being honest.
Such incidents involve not just me, but also my family. If he had shot me, I could have died right there in the middle of nowhere without my families or my friends knowing at the age of back then, I think 23.
Right.
Just starting my career here in D.C. without even starting a family. But now I'm very blessed to have this opportunity.
So you had a gun pointed at your head, and you probably figured that he's going to pull the trigger because these are animals that don't know what the hell. They couldn't care less. The pulling the trigger to him is a very minor event, and I'm sure he's done it before. So how did you? And you did refuse to give it. Which would probably, maybe somebody would say that was not the right decision, right? But you refused, but I understand that. And then he hit you real hard.
Yeah.
It's really amazing that you weren't shot, though.
It's a blessing that she wasn't shot. Now, as I'm watching this clip last night, and I'm doing my normal show prep like I am, this thought crosses my mind, and I think, I wonder where she lies politically. Is she a conservative? Is she a liberal? And then I thought to myself, like, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. See, the things that President Trump is fighting against affect all Americans. It kind of goes back to what I was saying about Bobby Kennedy with autism. Listen, armed robbers don't care if you're a Democrat or a Republican. Autism doesn't care if you're a Democrat or a Republican. What Donald Trump and this administration is trying to do is fix these problems for all Americans. And while the Democrats may kick and scream about militarizing D.C., he's making it safer for everyone. Everyone. That's a huge win. And as much as the Democrats want to be and moan and whine about it, they know what he's doing too. They know that the streets are now safer. They're grateful for it. Make no mistake about it. In other cities where they're pushing back and saying, we're going to fight against Donald Trump if he deploys the National Guard, I think you're going to see these Democrat-run cities, these Democrat governors, start ramping up their own criminal enforcement so that way they can say that they don't need Donald Trump. And you know what? Great. We'll take it. We need our big cities to be safe again. It's a huge focus of the cabinet meeting yesterday. Huge focus. And in D.C. currently, you're seeing National Guard troops patrolling the metro armed. And nobody seems bothered by it, except for the criminals. And you know what you don't see? You don't see shenanigans. You don't see murders. You're not seeing robberies. You're seeing safety. You're seeing law and order. You're seeing what a proper country looks like. This is how we make America great again. We can't make America great again if we leave behind our big blue cities. We can't. America's not going to reach that full potential of being great if a 14-year-old in Chicago is worried about going out after dark because he doesn't want to get shot. It's just, it's not going to happen. It's not. But a lot of the focus yesterday, was on crime. And Donald Trump said something about what he's thinking in D.C. He said, guys, if you commit a murder in the Capitol, they're going to seek the death penalty. This is what real deterrence looks like. And this is what real leadership looks like. Donald Trump yesterday inside that cabinet meeting. If you kill somebody in Washington, D.C., we're coming after you with the death penalty.
Anybody murders something in the Capitol, capital punishment. Capital punishment.
I like it.
If somebody kills somebody in the Capitol, Washington, D.C., we're going to be seeking the death penalty.
Good.
And that's a very strong preventative. And everybody that's heard it agrees with it. I don't know if we're ready for it in this country, but we have it. It is. We have no choice. So in D.C. and Washington, states are going to have to make their own decision. But if somebody kills somebody, like you could have been killed, very lucky you didn't get killed, it's the death penalty.
Sign me up. Big fan. Not going to lie. I am a huge fan of the death penalty. The only thing I don't like about the death penalty is how long it takes in some of these cases. Now, granted, some people deserve an appeal, and there are cases that are overturned, and I understand. I think it should be expanded. I do. I think the death penalty should be expanded to child rapists and predators, pedophiles, the like, because that's what deterrence looks like. That's what it looks like. Public, actually. I think it should be public. That's just me. Maybe it's an unpopular opinion. Maybe. But I like it. And I like that Donald Trump is trying to put real deterrence out there for criminals. This is what law and order looks like. And I'll tell you what, some of those kids, not all of them, but some of those kids are going to think twice before pulling the trigger if they know what lies at the end of that. They will. Not all, but some. And what do the Democrats always say? If it saves one life, if it saves one life. Yeah, this is what we're focused on. Crime, corruption, restoring law and order. D&I Gabbard was at the cabinet meeting as well. And while she's at the cabinet meeting, she talks about a lot of what she's found in burn bags throughout headquarters at ODNI. And she talks about how they're exposing the weaponization of intelligence. We need this. I don't know what's going to come of it. But the best disinfectant is sunlight. And the least we can do is shine a light on all of the corruption that's been happening behind closed doors in D.C. for a very long time. D&I Gabbard yesterday at the cabinet meeting.
For ODNI, number one, our focus is and must always be making sure that our intelligence community is focused on our mission, keeping the American people safe, secure, and free. We're doing great work on this front. I'll point out our National Counterterrorism Center, led by Director Joe Kent, are working across different agencies with Homeland Security, DEA, FBI, and others to catch terrorists, both those who are trying to come into our country, those who may already be in our country. They are finding the worst of the cartel bosses and making sure that they're not able to continue to wreak havoc and terror in our communities. Secondly, Mr. President, you have charged me with the mission of finding the truth and telling the truth to the American people. And We've exposed some of the worst examples of the weaponization of intelligence in the last several weeks. I will continue down that mission and that path wherever it leads. Transparency, telling the truth is what will drive true accountability for the American people who deserve nothing less.
Amen. Now, after we get that transparency, we do need to focus on the accountability, and that's going to fall at the feet of Pam Bondi. I want silver bracelets. I want court cases. I want criminal charges. We're seeing some of it. We're seeing some of it. But we need to see more. We need to see a lot more. With what we saw happen to President Trump in the lead up to the 2024 campaign, with what we saw in the 2020 election, with what we saw under Joe Biden, we need it. We need it. We need accountability for Russia, and all the hoaxes that derailed the first term of President Trump. We need it. We're begging for it. We're starving for it. I pray it comes. But you can't blame Gabbard if it doesn't. You can't. She is doing her best to expose all of this. And she's sending those criminal referrals over to Pam Bondi. She wants criminal charges. Make no mistake about it. She said it time and time again. But that's up to the AG. We'll keep our eyes on it. And let's just hope for that accountability. Elsewhere in the cabinet meeting, again, the focus on crime leads us to the southern border, which Donald Trump campaigned on. Secretary Noem giving an update on the progress that they've had at the southern border. And it's been a massive amount of progress. 0 illegal alien crossings in the last 3 months. That's a pretty big deal on the border.
Grow now with 0 illegal aliens coming into this country. And I want to thank Pete and the Department of Defense for all of their help. They're down at the border with us still, helping us keep that border secure.
And that's what we need. And they've been doing a fantastic job on the border. Shout out to the new paint. You see the new paint that they did a couple weeks back? I think it might have been last week. They painted it black so that way it's hot. You can't climb it. I love it. But the focus on law and order, the focus on safety for the American people, this is how we make our country great again. That's it. That's what we do. And you'll hear the Democrats whine. Oh, I feel safe in D.C., Jamie Raskin. I feel great, Chuck Schumer. I take walks all the time in D.C. Everything's good. Nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry about, everybody. And it's so funny because you look at these losers with private security telling the American people don't worry about it. But J.D. Vance lays it out perfectly in the cabinet meeting. He said, public safety, being safe in these big cities is not something that should only belong to the wealthy. And he's absolutely right.
There, I happen to believe that maybe the most sacred thing that we can deliver to American workers is the ability to live safely and comfortably in their own neighborhoods. Public safety is not just something that should belong to the wealthy. It should belong to every working man and woman in the United States of America. And because of the work of this administration, that is happening. And of course, Mr. President, you yourself talked about the inflation mess that we inherited under the Biden administration. Maybe the most striking and even shocking statistic of the Biden administration is that housing costs have gone up by 100% over the 4 years of the Biden administration, literally doubled, making the American dream of homeownership unaffordable. We've made great strides and great progress already, but to the American people who are listening, there's a lot more to do.
There's a lot more to do. There's a lot more to do. But it does seem like we have a competent administration, a competent cabinet around President Trump who are going to be able to get the job done. And that's something that we haven't been able to say for quite a while in this country. It was a long 4 years under Joe Biden. It was painful. It sucked. But it makes these wins that we're racking up right now all the better. It's 9:52. This is Super Talk 99.7
We're going to keep on working hard.
Chris Hand, and I want to tell you about Bobcat Dirt Days. It's happening Friday, September 12th from 10 to 3 at 7 Bobcat locations across Middle Tennessee and their Bowling Green, Kentucky location, brought to you by your regional Bobcat compact equipment dealers. It's a way of them saying thank you to the construction and land moving pros who keep these communities in Middle Tennessee growing. And they're going to have attendance prizes all day. 10% off all in-stock genuine Bobcat parts and 25% off first-time machine rentals booked by September 30th. Plus, you don't want to miss your chance to win one of 2 Bobcat commercial mowers that they're giving away just by stopping by on Friday the 12th to enter. In addition, there's going to be operator skill competitions, plenty of prize drawings throughout the day, and they'll have snacks and drinks for you pros, so stop by on your break or over your lunch hour. We want to see you there. Now, I'm going to be doing my show live from 9 to noon at the Laverne location of Bobcat of Nashville, and we want to see you there. I'll be broadcasting live. Come through, say hi. Maybe I'll even put you on the air. Or you can stop by any Bobcat location to win prizes and learn more about Bobcat equipment. It's one tough animal, and you can find more online, bobcatgdn.com.
A brazen robbery on Interstate 24. And also, a bunch of law enforcement agencies are on the scene of a shooting at a Catholic school in Minneapolis. We'll have those stories coming up at 10 o'clock on Super Talk. 99.7 WTN.
That's Jay Harper in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. We love those guys. I love everybody in the YouTube chat as well. If you want to check out the new studio that I'm broadcasting from in Murfreesboro, you can jump in the YouTube chat and give all the unsolicited advice that everybody in the YouTube chat has been giving me. The Mason is also giving me unsolicited advice. He was saying during commercial breaks, you should pop in new items behind you and not refer to them at all.
Not say anything.
Don't bring it up.
You bringing it up right now kind of defeats the purpose, but you're saying like if a baseball appeared on the corner and like.
Ooh. We actually, when we went to Atlanta with my boys for the Braves game, we got a Major League used ball from that game. We paid
that would be
for
cool.
It. We didn't catch it. I didn't know that you could buy those things. But once we found out, I had to do it.
You could say you caught it.
I could put that up on the table. That'd be cool. That'd be cool. There's a lot to get to today. A lot of news moving around. One story that I want to get to in a little while is Mayah Sommers, who will forever be known as Queen of the Scots. Have you seen the viral video going around? Mayah Sommers is a young girl, 14 years old, and she's being chased down by a few migrants in Scotland and filmed. And we all know what's happening in the UK with migrants. The rape gangs, the Muslim rape gangs, the ones that are being brushed under the rug by all of the politicians, all of the law enforcement officers, and it's become an epidemic. So as she's being chased down by these migrants, she brandishes a knife and an axe and says, "Leave me the bleep alone." And do you know what happened? She got arrested. How far has the UK fallen? When a 14-year-old girl can't go for a walk outside without feeling the need to have a weapon to protect herself, and when she brandishes that weapon to protect herself, well, she gets in trouble for it. It's a crazy story, and we're going to dive into it momentarily. A lot to get to today. Busy news day here at Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. It's 10 a.m., and I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. A weather forecast is on the way. Multiple law enforcement agencies are on the scene currently of a shooting at a Catholic school in Minneapolis. Few details have been confirmed, but ABC News has learned that it happened on the second day of classes at Annunciation Church School and that there may be multiple victims. Minneapolis city officials also say that the shooter has been contained. Matt Belanger with ABC News TV affiliate KSTP says that Governor Tim Walz and the mayor confirmed the shooting earlier in the morning.
The mayor also confirming there has been a shooting at Annunciation Catholic School here along Diamond Lake Road, and it's the Kenny neighborhood of the city. And that is what we know. And as far as the number of people impacted or how this all unfolded, those are details we're still working out.
That is indeed a developing story. Back here in Tennessee, authorities in Laverne are seeking video footage of an incident that occurred along I-24 yesterday morning, which led to one driver being robbed at gunpoint. According to Laverne police, the incident happened sometime between 10:45 and 11 a.m. yesterday on the westbound lanes of I-24 between Sam Ridley Parkway and Waldron Road. Officials said the suspects, who were traveling in a black Toyota sedan, brake-checked a Chevrolet Camaro and then threw eggs onto the windshield of the Camaro, and the driver, of course, couldn't see, so he pulled over. Well, then, two black males, allegedly wearing masks, gloves, and armed with pistols, jumped out of their car and robbed the man at gunpoint. After the robbery, police said the suspects took off on westbound I-24 toward Nashville. Anyone with information or video footage, some dash cam footage of the incident, is asked to call the Laverne Police Department. That is the latest news. We've got weather up next. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News.
It's 10:05 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. You got to get good water. I'm telling you. Betterwater.com. We got a lot to cover today on the show, and you can listen to us anywhere. iHeartRadio, TuneIn, the FM dial. You can watch the show as well. Check out my new studio live in Murfreesboro on YouTube and Rumble. Hit like, hit subscribe. I got a lot of kids to feed, and those likes, those subscribes, that's food in their mouth, so I appreciate it when you do so.
It's food in their mouths, and you might be able to get Chris, according to you guys, a better light.
Yeah, what's that? The
What's
lighting
up with
looks
that?
great.
I think you look great.
They're too
not
used
to boost your ego
uh,
or anything, but
they're too used to the studio at
blinding
10
and blaring.
Circle East. Yeah, that's a problem. That's a problem.
Too much light.
Way too much light. With this next story, this is so there's a viral video that's been going around. Mayah Sommers is the young girl's name, and we're gonna put the video on the screen, but I'm gonna leave it muted. I tried to edit this video last night, and it really pained me to see what's happening in the UK. And as a dad, it broke my heart in half to hear a young girl with so much fear in her voice. So much fear. And that's my big takeaway. You have a young, scared 14-year-old girl being chased by migrants in Scotland. And it doesn't seem like this is the first time it's happened. And if you pay attention to what's happening in the UK, this is definitely not the first time this has happened. We understand that there's an epidemic of Muslim rape gangs in the UK. You import the third world, you get third world problems. Now, it wouldn't be as wild and crazy as it is if you didn't have these politicians, these law enforcement officers in the UK covering this up for years, decades. They have been ignoring the issue. They've been blaming the victims, and they're doing it again with this young girl, Mayah Sommers. Mayah Sommers will forever be known to me as Queen of the Scots. It pains me that a young girl has to brandish a weapon to keep herself safe in a country. And as we talk about crime and safety in America and how we can't be great again until our cities are safe, the same can be said about the entire West. The entire West. What has happened to the Western men? Why have they allowed this to happen in their countries? And it's going to come here if we aren't on guard. Make no mistake about it. You see certain communities that are already looking more like the countries of their inhabitants than they do America. Shout out to Minneapolis and Somalia. We see this. We see this in our country. And if we're not careful, we're going to be the UK. So this poor girl, this poor 14-year-old girl, she's trying to run away from what appears to be 2 to 3 migrants filming her on a cell phone. You can hear the fear in her voice. And she brandishes a knife and she brandishes an axe. And she says, "Stay the bleep away from me. Stay away from me. Stay away from me." They continue to follow her until she makes her exit. And that's where the video ends. It's heartbreaking, but the story gets even worse. Story gets even worse. She's been charged. She's been charged. Yep, brandishing a knife. The Sun, the Scottish Sun, has the story. Blade threat. Girl, 14, charged after brandishing knife on Scott Street. A number of police vehicles were spotted at a car park as officers launched an investigation. A girl has been charged after she was allegedly brandishing a knife on Scott Street. Cops were called to St. Anne Lane in the Lochy area of Dundee just after 7:30 p.m. on Saturday. It's claimed the youngster was in possession of a bladed weapon. A number of police vehicles were spotted at Balgay Street as officers launched the investigation. Police confirmed the 14-year-old youth has been charged in connection with the incident. What is wrong with the West? How about we start asking questions like, why does a young 14-year-old girl feel so unsafe in the streets of her own community that she needs to have a knife and an axe on her? Why aren't we asking that question? Why aren't the police interviewing the migrants who were following her around, recording her? Sir, why are you recording a 14-year-old girl? Sir, why are you following her around this community? Those questions were never asked, and they weren't asked by design. You see, that would be offensive. That would be racist, and that's something that they just can't tolerate in the UK. Where was her dad? Where was her dad? I'll tell you what, if somebody did that to Kennedy, I'd see red. I'd see red, and I would do what needed to be done. My 14-year-old daughter, Kennedy's 11 now, but she was 14. She wouldn't need to brandish a knife because dad would be there. And I wonder what's happened to the Western men. How have we fallen so hard that our young girls in Western countries have to protect themselves? It really does show you how bad it's gotten. And it gets worse. If you go to liberal areas on the internet, like Reddit, they're blaming the 14-year-old girl. They're blaming the victim. I'm sorry. I thought victim blaming was something that the left didn't want to do. Right? Weren't we taught? Don't blame the victim. Don't blame the victim. Don't question women. That is until a migrant is involved and they're following this young girl around with a camera, then it's okay to blame the victim. Then we don't believe women. Got it. But on liberal Reddit, you're getting comments like, the people who think this girl was just protecting herself by having these weapons are going to be singing a different tune if immigrants get tooled up to protect themselves from assaults by racist bigots who think they shouldn't be here. Nothing in this video showed the girl was being racist. Nothing. Nothing in this video showed anything other than a girl who was afraid for her life. And again, I tried to edit the video, but you lose too much of it. So during the commercial break, we're going to play this thing unedited, this viral video of Mayah Sommers on the YouTube stream, because you need to see it in its entirety, and you need to hear the fear in this young girl's voice. It's going to break your heart. It broke mine a couple times. But what are we doing? And why are we accepting individuals from the third world? I was sitting there last night, and I'm doing all this research, and I came to this assumption: if we have a travel advisory against a country where we're warning our citizens that you can't go there because of heightened chance of murder or rape or the like, why are we allowing those citizens to come here and bring those problems? And by here, I mean the West in general. Why are we allowing that? It's real easy to look at the travel advisories and the travel advisory map and really easy to say, well, if we can't trust our citizens there, why should we trust your citizens here? And there's some different things. There's risk indicators that you can find. But when you break it down, there aren't that many countries that are level 2 through 4, and 4 being the worst, 3 to you get it. Level 1, safe to go. But there aren't that many countries. But for the ones that do, why would we invite them here? Like you go down the line, Yemen, do not travel, unrest, crime, kidnapping or hostage taking, terrorism. Don't travel there. So why are we going to allow someone from Yemen to come here? I think it's a serious question. And I think it's a question that we have to ask, especially with a country like Pakistan. Crime, terrorism, unrest. Let's import them to the West. How about that? They won't bring any of those problems. And when they do, the mainstream media won't report it. The liberal governments will sweep it under the rug, and law enforcement will arrest you for telling the truth on Facebook in a lot of these Western countries. By the grace of God, not here in America yet. But if we don't wake up, that's what's coming. That's what's coming. It's really wild. Now, I know you couldn't do that with every country. And I know you could look at like Ukraine and be like, well, they have a level 4 warning, but that's because of a war. When you break down the travel advisories and you see the risk indicators, if you got a risk indicator for crime, I don't know if I want your citizens here. If you can't control your citizens, why are we going to think that we can? Generally, in the West, I think that we need to really take a closer look at who we're letting into these Western countries. Or before we know it, we're going to end up just like Europe. Elon Musk has entered the chat. Elon Musk says that he's going to be paying for vast legal actions against corrupt officials who aided and abetted the rape of Britain. You see, this is a huge problem in the UK, these rape gangs. And these liberal politicians, these corrupt officials who swept it under the rug and allowed it to continue to happen, let a generation of girls be victimized. And they should be held accountable. You know, we talk about holding our officials accountable. Well, these officials need to be held accountable as well. The group is called the Rape Gang Inquiry. And they're saying that rape gangs operate in at least 85 areas in the UK. 85. The Rape Gang Inquiry has identified 85 local authorities in which gang-based sexual exploitation of children is taking place or has historically done so. This is the context that you need to have when you're looking at the video of Mayah Sommers brandishing a knife and an axe as migrants chase her through the streets, filming her on their cell phones. Hundreds of brave survivors, family members, and whistleblowers have approached the Rape Gang Inquiry since our launch, each with unique stories. However, patterns of targeted exploitation by predominantly Pakistani males combined with gross negligence from public bodies are identifiable. Further research following the submission of thousands of Freedom of Information requests by our data investigation team has enabled the Rape Gang Inquiry to produce one of the most comprehensive exposés of the nationwide scandal to date. A separate inquiry team has traveled the country, gathering evidence and speaking with survivors, family members, and whistleblowers. Our staff includes a qualified support specialist therapist with decades of experience in dealing with vulnerable individuals. Cases have been identified across the United Kingdom, from Aberdeen to Plymouth, Antrim to Canterbury, some going back to as far as the 1960s. The 1960s, this is a decades-long problem. Why is a young girl brandishing a knife as migrants chase her? Gee, I don't know. Could be anything. Maybe it's her fault. Yeah. Ongoing cases have been referred to relevant authorities, and the Rape Gang Inquiry will shortly be writing to all local authorities where these heinous crimes have been identified to request full transparency and cooperation. Victim safeguarding is at the heart of everything that we do and has guided every stage of the process. The Rape Gang Inquiry is working with our legal team and shall commence our hearings later this year. This is a chance for victims to speak, experts to be interviewed, and a full report, recommendations to then be drafted. Rupert Lowe, MP, chair of the Rape Gang Inquiry, commented, "Our inquiry has shown that this rotting scandal is more widespread than thought. Hundreds of thousands of lives have been ruined at the hands of predominantly Pakistani rape gangs. Hundreds of thousands of lives have been ruined. Why would a 14-year-old girl need to be running around the streets with a knife? Oh, gee whiz, just happens to be the age that these rape gangs target. I'm glad she had a knife. Lord knows what could have happened to Mayah Sommers if she didn't. And I shudder to think what it was. We know what it was. We know. It's over 2 months since Labor promised nationwide action, yet the government has been seemingly idle since. The message from survivors is clear. Get on with it. There have been too many broken promises, and now is the time for action and for hard justice to be delivered by those in power. This staggering research from our inquiry underlines the need for urgent movement from labor, and I would like to thank our inquiry team for their incredible efforts and dedication in uncovering yet more of this scandal. There is much work to do over the coming months." Elon Musk throwing his weight behind this is going to be helping fund this inquiry and lawsuits into these corrupt officials. And I thank him for doing so, giving a voice to the voiceless. And it's still going on today. Make no mistake about it. This problem hasn't disappeared. The media just doesn't want to talk about it because it's racist. Yep. The media, the liberal politicians, they'd rather let your daughters get raped than be called a mean name. Look out, Western man. This is coming to America if we don't open our eyes. And we all need to understand and know the name of Mayah Sommers, the Queen of the Scots, the 14-year-old girl with bigger cojones than some of the males in these countries. Don't let it happen here. If you're joining us on YouTube, and I suggest you do, I'm going to play this video of Mayah Sommers as she's confronted by the migrant rape gangs, by these migrants in Scotland when she brandishes the knife. And I want to get your instant reaction on YouTube, in the chat. Do you hear the same fear in her voice that I hear? Can you believe that the authorities press charges on this girl trying to protect herself? This story is disgusting, and it needs to be known nationwide. And if we had a proper media, if we had a proper press in this country, it'd be front page news. It'd be front page news. I'll play this video live on YouTube. Join us over there or on Rumble. Hit like and subscribe, and we'll be back with more momentarily. It's 10:22. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand, and I want to tell you about my friends at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Are you tired of back pain, neck pain, knee pain ruining your life? Of course you are. Who wouldn't be tired of that? Are you looking for a solution? Of course you are. Well, you found one. It's the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Dr. Mitchell, Dr. Ashley are going to fix you up, and it's not going to break the bank. The Big Daddy Trump special going on now. $12 gets you a full exam, x-rays if needed, a well-explained diagnosis, and your first treatment. And you heard me right. All of that for only $12. Dr. Mitchell, Dr. Ashley, they're not going to give up on you until you're living a pain-free life. Now, what they're going to offer is non-surgical spinal decompression, robot lasers, and even anti-gravity machines. It's going to treat your back pain, your neck pain, your sciatica, your numbness, your bulging discs, and it's going to fix it for good. What they're not going to use, surgery, painkillers, injections. You won't find any of that at the Wellness Institute of Nashville, but you will find real solutions. Don't waste any time. Get $12 together. Look for the change in your couch cushions. Find the $12 and then call 615-246-5009. That's 615-246-5009, or you can find the Wellness Institute of Nashville online at painisbad.com. All right, we're live on YouTube, and I got to play this video for you in its entirety, unedited, and I want you to see Mayah Sommers. I want you to see her being confronted by these migrants. And how do we know it's a migrant? Well, you listen to his voice. You know it's a migrant. And she brandishes this weapon to keep herself and what appears to be her sister safe. Let's watch this together.
Yes, you have a knife. Fucking close you fucking bad. Fucking cat bastard.
Show the knife. 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 That's it. That's it. Show the knife. Show the knife. That's it.
Don't fucking touch my leg. You're fucking 12. We're not fucking touching me. You're fucking 12 and you just bastards me.
Yeah, show the knife. Marata.
Do you hear the fear in her voice? Did you hear that too? Did your heart break a little bit? Mine did. We'll be back with more in a moment. Hang out with us. Appreciate you guys being here. Hit like, hit subscribe, all the things. Mayah Sommers, Queen of the Scots.
More on the school shooting in Minneapolis. That's going on here this morning. And the Salvadoran national, who has been in the crosshairs of the Trump administration in its deportation efforts, he's now seeking asylum. We'll have that and more coming up at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Dear God, what's going on in Minneapolis is awful. Jay Harper bringing you the latest here in moments, but as we're looking at the live updates, it's a Catholic church and school, cops are saying, and they're already saying up to 20 victims. Holy cow.
Yeah, there are fatalities too, Chris.
Send some prayers up.
Yeah, just the second day of classes.
Oh, my God.
And this all happened apparently as the kids were being dropped off this morning.
Wow. This is what we have from the New York Post. An active shooter situation was reported at a Catholic school and church in Minneapolis early Wednesday, just 2 days after school began. First responders and law enforcement swarmed the area at the Annunciation Church just after 8:30 a.m. following reports of heavy gunfire. Police saying there are up to 20 victims. 8 seconds ago, we got an update that said at least 2 of the 20 victims have passed away. Man. Tired of this stuff. 20 victims, at least 2. The suspected shooter, a man dressed in all black with an armed rifle, no longer a threat, the police department post says. President Trump has been briefed on the Minneapolis shooting and will continue to monitor this terrible situation. He's going to be keeping a close eye on the unfolding tragedy. Posting to Truth Social at 10:45 Eastern, I've been fully briefed on the tragic shooting in Minneapolis, Minnesota. The FBI quickly responded, and they are on the scene. The White House will continue to monitor this terrible situation. Please join me in praying for everyone involved. Yeah, please join all of us in praying for everyone involved. Send those prayers up. Wrap those families in comfort, Lord, and protect and heal the ones who are wounded. Active shooter situation, Catholic school and church in Minneapolis. 8:30 a.m. Golly. That's awful. As more updates become available, we'll have them for you right here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. But this is just another heartbreaking story that we're seeing unfold in real time. And we're doing our best to keep all of the updates coming for you. I know Jay Harper is going to have some here momentarily. It is developing. So far, 2 deaths and 4 critical victims. This is per KARE 11, their update saying, police are responding to an active shooter situation. Police are reporting 20 victims. A man dressed in all black with a rifle was reported at the scene. EMS has requested a mass casualty response, and fire crews are bringing in additional resources. Update, 4 critical victims and so far, and are still collecting casualties at Annunciation Church. Man. That is just heartbreaking. President Trump, this is his post on Truth Social, if you're watching us on YouTube, said, I've been fully briefed on the tragic shooting in Minneapolis, Minnesota. The FBI quickly responded, and they are on the scene. The White House will continue monitoring the situation. Please join me in praying for everyone involved. Man, you talk about all the stuff that you have to deal with as a parent right now. We're talking about Mayah Sommers moments ago. And seeing what's happening in the West, and then situations like this unfolding. And I think that at the end of the day, what's really causing a lot of these issues is a lack of faith and a lack of God. And I think we need to bring them back into the public square. We'll keep you updated on this should updates become available, and we'll follow this very, very closely. I know Jay Harper is just fully engulfed in this in the newsroom, and is going to keep us updated as well. Again, the latest update that we have is that 2 victims are dead. out of the 20 victims, but we have 4 in critical care. We'll keep our eyes on this, and we'll keep you updated. It's 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. It is 10:30, and I'm Jay Harper. We've got your top stories, and leading things off is the tragedy that is unfolding in Minneapolis. There are multiple victims following a shooting incident at the Annunciation Church School. The suspected shooter is believed to be dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz on social media said he was briefed on the incident, calling it a horrific act of violence. ABC's Aaron Katursky tells us what investigators are hoping to learn.
This particular shooting occurred, we understand, involving multiple victims. There are going to be a couple people deceased, we believe, and multiple injured as well.
And again, this shooting occurred this morning as the kids were being dropped off at the school on just the second day of classes. Kilmar Abrego Garcia, a Salvadoran national who has become emblematic of President Trump's stringent immigration policies, he's now seeking asylum here in the U.S., according to his attorneys. Abrego Garcia was detained by U.S. Customs and Immigration Enforcement in Baltimore on Monday after he was released from a Tennessee jail the past Friday. Administration officials have alleged that Abrego Garcia is affiliated with the MS-13 gang, and that's a claim he denies. His legal team is contesting deportation efforts, arguing that he has the right to express fear of persecution and torture in Uganda, where they are threatening to send him to. Abrego Garcia has also indicated a preference to be sent to Costa Rica if deportation is inevitable. That is the latest news. Weather is up next. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News.
It's Chris Hand here for my friends at the Glock store. In times like these, you really can't stress how much a firearm is necessary to protect you and your loved ones. You can get your firearms at the Glock store, and you can also get your training at the Glock store, no matter what level you're at. Here's something new at the Glock store. You want your Glock to shoot flatter with less recoil? Well, the answer is C-cuts, available from the Glock store. What is a C-cut? Well, I was in the same boat as you just a couple weeks back. It's short for compensator cuts, and these are going to be precision slots in your barrel and slide that pushes the bullet blast upward in a V motion that's going to cut down on muzzle flip and let you get back on target fast. Now, they only used to be available on the high-end Gen 3 compensated Glocks, but now the Glock store can do it for your Glock in 10 days or less. And you don't have to take my word for it. You can try it before you buy it. You grab a sample bullet pack for $6.99, and you can shoot a C-cut Glock 17, Glock 19, or my favorite, the 43X. Now, all the models are great, but that 43X with a C-cut, chef's kiss. It's beautiful. Bring your Glock or just the barrel and slide and start those 10 days today. That's the Glock store. Minutes from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere, and always open online. Glockstore.com.
Did you see these people in Washington, D.C. and their stupid chant?
Black lives matter! Black lives matter! Black lives matter!
So here's why this is dumb. Because Donald Trump sending in the National Guard is to stop the murders. Donald Trump is actually saving lives. Over the last 2.5 years, they have had 561 black people murdered in Washington, D.C. Donald Trump is sending in the National Guard to stop the crime. So Donald Trump is actually saving black lives.
.1037 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. We're covering the breaking news that's happening out of Minneapolis. There's been a school shooting at the Annunciation Church, 20 victims, 2 that we know are deceased. And the shooter is also deceased. We have 4 victims in critical care at this time. We're asking for prayers as updates become available. Pray for everybody. Pray for the law enforcement officers. Pray for those families. Pray for the victims. In times like these, we all need a little Jesus, and prayers go a long way. I believe in the power of prayer, and I'm requesting that everybody say a little prayer for those victims currently. As updates become available on the school shooting, we will bring them to you here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. As it stands right now, this is all developing in real time. And we're learning, and we know just about as much as you do currently. This is, again, it's a developing situation. It's a heartbreaking situation, and it seems like it's one that we know too well in this country. Too well. And the shooter killed himself after wreaking havoc on these students and attendees of Catholic Mass in Minneapolis, Minnesota, taking the coward's way out. Not before he caused a lot of devastation. A lot of devastation. We're getting instant reaction from individuals that were on the scene, and we're going to bring that to you now. There are quite a few videos coming out and interviews. This was from CNN moments ago. This is a neighbor of the church talking about what he heard and what he saw.
I was on a call. All the windows of our home were open. I know what gunfire sounds like, and I could tell. I was shocked. I said, "There's no way that could be gunfire." There was so much of it. So it was sporadic. It was a semi-automatic. It seemed like a rifle. It certainly didn't sound like a handgun, and so he must have reloaded, several times for sure.
Do you remember about how many gunshots?
I'll just say maybe 30 to 50 to, somewhere in that area.
Do you recall about how long
the fire went on?
Yeah.
For I would say several minutes. 3 minutes or 4. Which is a long time for live gunfire.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's a long time. You can wrap off a lot of shots. So, there again, I'm just estimating,
So that's the neighbor of the church. His name is Bill Beneinman, and he said that he heard it go on for 4 minutes-ish, 30 to 50 shots. That's a long time. It's a long time. I've done the training at Defense Systems with Brink Fiddler. And this isn't even a commercial, but just in these situations, you got to know what to do, where to go, how to react, and I think everybody should take the defense systems training. But there's also different aspects. Sometimes when that worship music is loud and you're in the sanctuary at a church, it's hard to know if it's gunfire. It's hard. You gotta familiarize yourself with this stuff, because seconds matter. Seconds matter. Again, we're learning a lot about what's happening. Local Minneapolis affiliate of Fox has the breakdown of what they know happened at the church. This is just dropping here a few minutes ago. This is the latest from a local Minneapolis affiliate.
If shooter call, we now know that the shooter is dead. Officers are reporting 20 victims. A man dressed in all black and armed with a rifle was reported at the scene. EMS has requested a mass casualty response, and fire crews are bringing in additional resources. As I said earlier, mass casualty does not mean deaths. It just means victims of some kind. Fire crews are bringing in additional resources. Initial information indicated that the suspect shooter is no longer a threat. That we know to be true now. Out of an abundance and caution, they are asking just people to stay out of that area, because there's a lot of work to be done, to complete this investigation and move through what they need to do this morning.
So we'll keep you updated as updates become available. We are getting reports that Minneapolis police were short on resources this morning after a fatal shooting downtown in Minneapolis earlier this morning. And they're saying that they were pretty strapped on resources. This is coming out. This, again, that local Fox affiliate in Minneapolis. They're all over this story, doing a great job of reporting. And we're just bringing you this stuff in real time. I haven't heard any of this either. I'm just reacting with you guys.
It's tactical vests, which it doesn't necessarily mean a lot. Sometimes the FBI is called in to help and things like this. I will say throughout the morning, we've been following a violent night overnight in Minneapolis. So we know already that Minneapolis police were pretty strapped. They responded to at least another deadly shooting in downtown Minneapolis earlier this morning. No indication that any of that is connected to what's going on here, but just gives you an idea of this city's resources and how they've been using those. They also dealt with a shooting involving 7 victims earlier yesterday, another fatal last night around 8 o'clock. So it could be that a lot of this help is being called in just to alleviate some of the busyness, I guess that you should say, that Minneapolis police are under. But clearly a lot of agencies now coming in to help. And I will say, Amy, when you see sometimes a lot of these law enforcement officers kind of by the perimeter, we saw them bringing plainclothes people. It looked like not law enforcement, maybe people involved with the scene, kind of taking them away from that scene. Could be an indication that things are settling down a bit there.
Let's hope things are settling down. Again, say prayers for the victims. We're learning that at this church, it looks like the active shooting took place during the mass. But this is also a church that is home to a K-8 school. So I'm not sure how they're going to classify this as we kind of get into the details. Was this a school shooting or was this an attack on a church? Does it make a difference? No, not necessarily. But it's something to pay attention to. It was an all-school Catholic mass for students at the Annunciation Church. Again, kindergarten through 8th grade. Traumatizing, I'm sure, for all those kids involved, and just heartbreaking. And again, just send your prayers up, and let's pray that we can get a solution to this. But this goes back to law and order, and you're hearing that the police are strapped for resources because downtown Minneapolis was a war zone last night. These cops are overworked and tired, and still responding to the scene. I haven't seen any reports that there wasn't enough police there, that the response time was short. I'm sure that will get ironed out as more details become available. And I'm not trying to say that the police did anything wrong here, but it just goes to show, in these big cities, crime is an issue, and it seems like a lot of this stuff could have been avoided. We'll keep you updated on what's happening in Minneapolis. I think that they obviously need to hire more police. we're going to be keeping our eye outs for statements from the governor, Tim Walz, and we'll see what he's saying in response to the shooting. We know that the White House has come out and asked for prayers. They've been briefed on the situation, but Tim Walz, it was just, you hear what's happening overnight in D.C. In Minneapolis, with all the shootings, but it was just a couple days ago at the DNC summer meetings that Governor Walz was attacking the National Guard being deployed to stop crime. And maybe if your officers weren't preoccupied with the shootings overnight, maybe they get there quicker. And again, I'm just spitballing here. I don't know what the response time was of the police, and I'm not trying to denigrate the police. I respect them, but just a couple days ago, Tim Walz was railing against National Guard being deployed to blue cities due to crime. And then you're hearing reports from local Fox affiliate in Minneapolis that, there was a lot of shootings last night in Minneapolis, a lot of shootings. And that's heartbreaking. So these police probably underpaid, overworked, like so many other police officers in so many other jurisdictions. But we're waiting for a statement from Tim Walz. I have not seen one yet. If anybody else has seen it, please feel free to drop it in the chat. Oh, no, we do have a statement from Tim Walz. Sorry, 1 hour ago. I've been briefed on a shooting at Annunciation Catholic School, and we'll continue to provide updates as we get more information. The BCA and State Patrol are on scene. I'm praying for our kids and teachers whose first week of school was marred by this horrific act of violence. It is a horrific act of violence, and I don't want to get too into the weeds on politics. There will be a time for that. We're still waiting to see what the identity is of the shooter, and we'll keep you updated on that. What was the motivation behind the attack? We'll keep you updated on that as well. And again, it's developing. 20 victims, 2 now deceased, 4 in critical care as of the last update I heard, in a Catholic church shooting. It was an all school Catholic mass, kindergarten through 8th grade. Heartbreaking, and we're sending prayers up to those families and those victims. Jeez. Let's keep our eyes on the Lord as we move through this conversation, because that's what matters. Jack Posobiec on X posting a photo from inside the church. This is the Annunciation Catholic School. If you can get that up on the screen for me, Mason. So no word on how the shooter breached the building yet. We haven't learned any of that. But as you can see, that's a big church. Fits a lot of people, and there were a lot of kids there today. A lot of kids. And we're also getting photos now of the family outside the school at the meetup area, and it just looks like a lot of heartbreak and a lot of grief. Enough is enough. We don't have to do this in this country, and I wonder if armed guards at the front door would have been a deterrent, or at least could have met the shooter. I wonder if there were armed guards. Again, I'm just spitballing. The lack of information always leads to speculation, to quote my friend Matt Murphy, and that's all we're doing right now. I'm not trying to point fingers, not trying to blame anyone, but this was the first mass of the school year for the Catholic Annunciation Church, and kindergarten through 8th grade, and it just looks like a lot of pain on the faces of these families as they're meeting up, and you're getting pictures now of moms crying and hugging their kids, and I can't imagine the heartbreak that they're going through. I have 4 young kids myself, 3 of them off at school today, and I don't know how I'd handle that. I just pray that the Lord gives them the strength that they need, and the healing powers that the victims need, and that the ones that can pull through do. We'll give you all the updates as they become available. Again, we're learning this in real time, just like you guys are. 50 to 100 shots, killing at least 2 children, according to the Minnesota Star Tribune. The shooter took the coward's way out, reportedly killed himself after letting off all those shots. We'll keep our eyes on this, and we'll keep our eyes on the Lord, and we'll bring you all the updates as they become available. It's 10:50. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, it's Chris Hand here for my friends at Cover Nash. You know Shane Ring. He's going to make health insurance simple for you. If you're tired of health insurance, that it feels like a math test, confusing percentages, surprise bills, fine print that you never read but always bites you in the rear end, it's time to make it simple. It's time to call Cover Nash. They have a brand new nationwide PPO plan that will give you the freedom to pick your own doctors anywhere in the U.S. with no referrals and no red tape. How does this sound? Just a $250 deductible. A flat $50 copay for any doctor, even specialists. Outpatient surgeries, just a $250 copay. Hospital stays, $1,000 total. Free preventative care like colonoscopies, mammograms, physicals because it's ACA compliant. And here's the kicker: you're not going to get any surprise bills or any hidden fees, just real protections from real providers. And if that plan is not the perfect fit, Cover Nash is working with 75 top-rated insurance companies, and they'll find something that works for your budget and your needs. All you got to do is visit the website, covernash.com, or if you're like me and you're more of a phone call person, call Shane Ring directly. 615-465-0023. That's the number for Shane Ring and Cover Nash. 615-465-0023, or find them online, covernash.com.
So I'm seeing as many as 20 victims in the Minnesota Catholic school shooting. At least 3 are dead, according to reports. Now, one of those may include the shooter. We've got a full report coming up at 11 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Well, we're grateful to have you in the newsroom, Ken Weaver, and he will be providing those updates. We're going to do our best to provide updates as well here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I reached out to Brink Fiddler from Defense System to see if he can jump on the show with us after 11. I'm not sure what his schedule looks like, but I'd love to get his expert analysis on what we're seeing and just also kind of some rundowns on how to keep yourself and your family safe in these situations, because a lot of the stuff that you can do, once you see it, when you go through the training at Defense Systems, it's like, oh, that's kind of a no-brainer. But it's like one of those things, you can't really see the forest through the trees, and I think Brink is a great resource to have, as well as Defense Systems. So I'm hoping that we can get him on the air here momentarily, because it's good to hear from real experts, honestly. I understand that I am not an expert, and I'm not going to pretend to you that I am an expert on these situations. I'm not. But I don't dress it up and pretend to be. Over on CNN moments ago, they had an expert on, an expert who claimed that a semi-automatic rifle can shoot dozens of bullets in just one trigger pull. I'm not a firearms expert, but sir, I know that that's incorrect, yet this is CNN.
A semi-automatic rifle, and it went on for several minutes.
Right, and look, that's not uncommon as well. These things can shoot dozens of bullets, in just one trigger pull, right?
That's actually wrong. That's not how a semi-automatic rifle works. It's just not. It's not. But this is CNN.
And so what happens in this case is sometimes they have enough time to reload. It's one of the most horrific things for students to be sitting there. You saw this in Uvalde, you see this in Newtown repeatedly, where a shooter has enough time to reload.
A semi-automatic rifle is not going to shoot 12 bullets in one trigger pull. It's not. It's not. But CNN will dress it up and go full fear porn for you. CNN is not the only leftist already grabbing at this tragedy. Brian Krasenstein, are you familiar with Brian Krasenstein? He's a disillusioned liberal who is all over Twitter, and he's vile. He posted a tweet. In response to the shooting that took place at the Annunciation Church, and he said, this is what he said. He said, praying is the problem here, not the solution. People use prayer instead of action. If prayer worked, a house of prayer wouldn't have just experienced this tragedy. Vile, disgusting human beings. It's okay, though. For all of the idiots like this, God will use this evil for good. God won't waste your pain. I'm here to tell you that. He won't. And to all the families affected by this tragedy, we are so sorry. This is just, it's heartbreaking news. The casualty count is up to 3, 20 victims, critical care among 4. And we're going to be updating you as quickly as humanly possible, because this is a developing story. And I know Ken Weaver is fast at work in the newsroom getting you all the latest. Students at the Annunciation Catholic School were celebrating their return to school this week before Wednesday morning's deadly shooting. Students had returned to classes on Monday, with staffers sharing photos of the first day back on the school's Facebook page. The image of happy students chatting with friends and classmates inside the building as they prepared for 2025-2026. And it's just wild. The Minneapolis church and school gunman took his own life after unleashing this monstrous mass shooting. Again, as more updates become available, we'll have them for you right here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Right now, we're going to jump into the headlines with Ken Weaver on Super Talk.
Eleven o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast in 5 minutes.
This is a special report from ABC News. I'm Sherry Preston. Officials in Minneapolis are about to hold a news conference any minute about the shooting at Annunciation Catholic School. We know that at least 2 people were killed and a dozen others taken to local hospitals. The gunman dead of a self-inflicted gunshot wound as well. Bailey Hurley with our affiliate KSTP in Minneapolis is on the scene.
The emotions, I've never quite felt anything so heavy, just in the air. It's chaotic. It's heavy. The folks here, everybody who's on the street, who are just watching, who live in this neighborhood, truly, simply cannot believe that this is going on.
ABC's Karen Travers has President Trump's reaction.
He has been fully briefed on what he calls the tragic shooting in Minneapolis. The president writes that the FBI quickly responded and is on the scene, and he says that the White House will continue to monitor this terrible situation.
This is ABC News.
Right now, officials are holding that press conference. The police chief of Minneapolis just announced that 14 of the 20 victims are children, and several of them are in critical condition. We know of 3 that are dead. Among those are children and the shooter. Stay with Super Talk 99.7 WTN for late breaking news on this. We'll have it on air and online. Kroger, one of the nation's largest grocery store chains, is planning to lay off more employees. The company, in an internal letter, says it's looking for ways to streamline its corporate operations. According to reports, this is actually the 3rd round of cuts this year for the grocery chain. This time, Kroger's laying off 1,000 employees at the corporate level, so this will not affect employees who work in stores, manufacturing facilities, or distribution centers. And the parents of a California teenager who died by suicide are suing the company behind ChatGPT. In a first-of-its-kind case, the family claims the chatbot helped the 16-year-old take his own life. The company says it has safeguards in place. Here's ABC's Rhiannon Alley.
According to court documents, in one chat, the teenager sent a photo of a noose knot he had tied to a closet rod and asked the chatbot, "I'm practicing here. Is this good?" "Yeah, that's not bad at all," ChatGPT responds. "Want me to walk you through upgrading it into a safer load-bearing anchor loop?" And after telling the chatbot he was thinking of telling his mother about his suicidal thoughts, court documents claim the chatbot responded, "I think for now it's okay and honestly wise to avoid opening up to your mom about this kind of pain."
And back to the Minneapolis Catholic school shooting. We now know 2 children killed, 17 others injured after the shooting there at the school. Stay with Super Talk 99.7 WTN for continuing coverage. We'll have the very latest for you online, on air, and we'll break in when it is necessary. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
It's 11:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. We're following this Minneapolis shooting with live updates, and we're bringing them to you as quickly as humanly possible. The latest reports are 2 children killed where they sat in church pews, 8 and 10-year-old respectively. Police just said that at a presser right now, giving more details on the traumatizing event in Minneapolis. 2 other children in critical condition. We got Mayor Jacob Fry, the mayor of Minneapolis, confirming that children were killed in this morning's mass shooting. And let's hear these comments from Jacob Fry. They may infuriate the audience. Just trigger warning. But we're following this like you guys are, and we're bringing you the latest. This is the mayor of Minneapolis, Jacob Fry.
Don't just say this is about thoughts and prayers right now. These kids were literally praying. It was the first week of school. They were in a church. These are kids that should be learning with their friends. They should be playing on the playground. They should be able to go to school or church in peace without the fear or risk of violence, and their parents should have the same kind of assurance.
I mean, I agree with a lot of what he said. When he rips thoughts and prayers, though, it's like, okay, what did you guys do beforehand to mitigate this kind of violence? What was the plan at the church? Were there armed guards? Were there SROs? These are pieces of information that we need to learn.
Brother Chris?
But saying, excuse me?
Hey, Brother Chris.
What's up?
Just want to let you know, man, I caught that press conference, and I've got everything that the police chief says.
Okay.
If you want it, I can send it to her, or we can run it.
Yeah, let's just run it, man. I want to hear the latest.
Okay.
I mean, it's almost like you're swimming through the ocean trying to find the information right now. So let's go right to the source, which is the police press conference. Ken's got the latest audio for sure, man. Let's do it.
My name is Brian O'Hara, BRIAN, O''HARA. I am the Minneapolis Police Chief. Earlier today, just before 8:30 a.m., our city experienced an unthinkable tragedy. Minneapolis police officers responded to a report of a shooting at a mass that was happening at the Annunciation Roman Catholic Church on the block behind me. This worship service was marking the first week of school for children that are attending the Annunciation Catholic School. During the mass, a gunman approached on the outside, on the side of the building, and began firing a rifle through the church windows towards the children sitting in the pews at the mass. Shooting through the windows, he struck children and worshipers that were inside the building. The shooter was armed with a rifle, a shotgun, and a pistol. This was a deliberate act of violence against innocent children and other people worshiping. The sheer cruelty and cowardice of firing into a church full of children is absolutely incomprehensible. Police officers from the Minneapolis Police Department immediately responded, entered the church, and attempted to provide first aid and rescue some of the children that were hiding throughout the building, while other first responders came and EMS responded to rush. Ages 8 and 10 were killed where they sat in the pews. Their parents have been notified. 17 other people were injured, 14 of them being children. 2 of those children are in critical condition. The coward who fired these shots ultimately took his own life of the church. Our hearts are broken for the families who have lost their children, for these young lives that are now fighting to recover, and for our entire community that has been so deeply traumatized by this senseless attack. We will stand together to protect our children, our schools, and our houses of worship. This deliberate act of violence is just a sign of cruelty that is beyond comprehension. Our hearts are broken for everyone that's been affected by this tragedy. As we begin the difficult path of healing, I want the community to know this, that even in the face of such evil, the Minneapolis Police Department and all of our law enforcement partners stand with our community. We stand with these families and with this parish. We will continue to be here for you. With that, the investigation is obviously in its preliminary stages, and I will attempt to take some questions to provide further information.
Chief, what can you tell us about the suspect in this case? How old was he? Any kind of motivation? Any notes or any other information he might have left?
So we were looking, the question was what can be said about the shooter. We believe it is one suspect, a sole shooter. We believe he is deceased. He is in his early 20s, does not have an extensive known criminal history. And we are looking through information left behind to try and determine some type of motive. Yeah.
How many students do you have about?
How many children? There were. I don't have an exact. The question was how many children at the school. There were dozens of children inside the mass at the time. I don't have an exact count. The children have been relocated into the school, which is where their families are reunifying with them. Reg.
Other than the weapons, was the shooter a student, former student? Was he a former employee? Do we know that?
The question was, do we know if the shooter was a former school employee or a former student? We don't have that information.
Did you leave anything behind other than the weapons?
There's a vehicle. The question was anything left behind? There's a vehicle that we believe that the suspect used that is being searched, and we will be conducting other searches related to this.
Where was it parked?
Inside the parking lot here.
There was some neighbors who said that the door to the church had been barricaded.
Yep.
Is that correct?
So the question was, neighbors had said that the door to the church had been barricaded. The shooter approached on one side of the church building, and on that side, at least two doors, it appears there had been like a 2x4 placed. So not all of the doors around the building, but on the side where the shooter did fire.
And on the outside?
On the outside, yes.
Were there any explosives that were found?
The question was there any explosives? There were reports of that. There were no explosives or improvised devices that we found. I do believe there was one, I guess you would call it a smoke bomb, like not an explosive, but a sort of a firework that would release smoke.
And which side of the building? North, south?
The side that is closest to us, here, on this side. Yep.
Was this incident related also at these nearby homes?
I don't have specific information on that I can release.
Gunshot wound, suspect?
The question was, is he dead from a gunshot wound? The answer is yes. We believe he took his own life in the parking lot.
Was this outside or both inside that he was shooting?
The question was he shooting outside and inside? He was absolutely shooting outside of the building on the side of the church, inside through the windows. It appears he may have gone inside, but I don't believe we've located any casings inside the building. So I'm not certain if he fired also while inside. It appears, if not all, most of the shooting happened outside the building.
Is this shooting related to any other shootings that happened in the last 24 hours?
Yeah, Taylor's asking, is this related to any of the other shootings? This does not appear to be related to any other shooting in the city.
Do you know approximately how many rounds were fired?
The question was how many rounds? I would say it's in the dozens. We don't have an exact count. There's a sidewalk on the outside as well as a grassy area, so obviously we are going through and taking our time to process the scene.
Was he firing just one weapon, like the rifle?
The question was he firing one weapon? We believe he had fired all three. He had a rifle, a shotgun, and a pistol.
Chief, was this individual licensed to conceal or carry? Did he have any?
Were the weapons, was he lawfully carrying the weapons? I don't have that information, and I don't have any information on any significant criminal history either.
Was he dressed at all in any tactical type of gear or anything?
It appeared he had some black clothing on, his cargo-type pants, I guess you could interpret that as, however you like.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for. And that's
the latest from the Minneapolis Police Department. I believe that was the chief of the Minneapolis Police Department breaking everything down. Some big takeaways that I had from that press conference, and Ken, chime in with what your takeaways are.
Yeah.
But they said that there was a door on the side that was propped open with a 2x4. Did I hear that correctly?
Yes.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that needs to be looked into. No.
Yes. That's a key bit of evidence there.
But they also said that the shooting took place from outside in.
Right.
So he never entered the sanctuary.
They don't know for sure, from what I understand. So that's kind of unclear right now. And then also I found it interesting that smoke bombs were used.
Yeah, I find that interesting too. And we also learned that the shooter had a rifle, a shotgun, and a pistol, and he was firing all three throughout the incident.
Yes.
So we have 3 dead currently, 17 other injured, 14 of which are children. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Heartbreaking. And leftists are already piling on. Mayor Jacob Fry, moments ago, also saying, don't just say this is about thoughts and prayers currently.
Yeah, don't just say this is about thoughts and prayers right now. These kids were literally praying. It was the first week of school. They were in a church.
Why do the leftists have such a problem with praying?
Yeah, and why do we need to hear from the mayor first?
Honestly, what did he add to the conversation with that? Besides politically charged rhetoric, it's unbelievable. You have little kids who have been murdered by a vicious, vile monster who took the coward's way out and took his own life. And the mayor gets on TV and starts yelling about praying. Got it. As more updates become available on this story, we're going to have them for you right here. Again, there's quite a few things that are really making me a bit irritated with the story. The first would be Mayor Jacob Fry with his, it's not the time for thoughts and prayers. The second was a tweet from Brian Krasenstein saying praying is the problem here, not the solution. People use prayer instead of action. If a prayer worked, a house of prayer wouldn't have just experienced this tragedy. What an idiot. What a dumb thing to say. And speaking of dumb things to say, CNN had an expert on moments ago, and the expert said that a semi-automatic weapon can fire dozens of rounds with a single trigger pull.
A semi-automatic rifle, and it went on for several minutes.
Right, and look, that's not uncommon as well. These things can shoot dozens of bullets, in just one trigger pull, right?
Some expert you have there, CNN. Some expert. By definition, semi-automatic is one trigger pull, one bullet fired.
And Chris, I've got some clarification on the 2x4s.
Yeah, go ahead.
The 2x4s were on the outside of the door.
Was it so that way people couldn't get out?
Yes.
So this guy went in with a methodical plan.
Sounds like it.
He knew what he was doing. And we don't have any idea on who the shooter is, what the motivations were. And the longer that goes, as we've learned so many times, we can only assume. Were these kids targeted because they were Christian? Possibly. Was it just a lunatic with a gun? Also possible. But it seems like he was very coordinated and had a bit of a plan. Again, I don't think that it's a waste to pray. I think that praying in these situations is actually one of the greatest things we can do, and I don't think you should underestimate the power of prayer. And I ask you to pray for these families and pray for these kids, and just pray that the Lord wraps them up in comfort and security as they are navigating through this stuff. God won't waste your pain, and even in a situation as dark as this, I truly believe God won't waste your pain. We'll continue bringing you updates as they become available. Ken Weaver is one of the best newsmen that we have in the entire industry, and he's working tirelessly back there to bring you all of the information. And as new details become available, we'll have them for you here first on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at ZeroRes Nashville. You understand what it's like when you got a bunch of kids and a bunch of dogs. The carpets really take the brunt of the beating. And it used to really get on my nerves. Be like, guys, you got to take off the baseball cleats before you go in the house. And they would remember by the time they hit the living room. That's still an issue, but I don't stress about it as much anymore because I always got ZeroRes on speed dial. You should have them on speed dial too. Right now, you can get 3 rooms cleaned for just $109. That is a deal. And they use their exclusive ZR water. You're not going to find soap. You're not going to find harsh chemicals, no residue, which means your carpets and upholstery will look insanely clean and stay clean longer. So for us, I don't have to worry about the kids sprawling out on the floor. The dogs can roll around, and I don't have to worry about what's in the fibers. They can do it for you, and it's not just carpets. They do air ducts, tile, rugs, upholstery, the works. Perfect for back to school season when you're taking back your home after the summer chaos. Give ZeroRes a call today. They'll take care of your carpets. 3 rooms for $109. 615-535-9376. 615-535-9376, or find them online, ZeroResNashville.com.
For many of us, generators are becoming a must-have household appliance. From unpredictable weather to surprise outages, it's better to be safe than sorry. Generator Supercenter of Nashville offers fast and easy installations with 24/7 service and monitoring to all brands of generators and expert repairs done right. Our mission is to make owning a backup generator simple and easy. Visit your local store today or check us out online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
So we got Gavin Newsom out here doing his absolute best to try and intimidate MAGA.
I'm sorry. I know some people's sensibilities. I respect and appreciate that. But right now, with all due respect, we're walking down a damn different path. We're fighting fire with fire, and we're going to punch these in the mouth.
You know, it's funny. I can't think of one person that's actually intimidated by Gavin Newsom. Okay. I stand corrected. That Chinese kid looked pretty intimidated.
Three dead, dozens injured, and they are children after a gunman attacked a Catholic school during Mass this morning in Minneapolis. We've got that and other top stories at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Ken Weaver in the newsroom following all of the breaking news. It's a blessing to have Ken Weaver back there detailing everything that we're seeing, and we're doing our best to keep on top of this developing story. My name's Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. We're getting instant reaction out of a lot of politicians. Donald Trump, an hour ago on True Social, I've been fully briefed on the tragic shooting in Minneapolis, Minnesota. The FBI quickly responded, and they are on the scene. The White House will continue to monitor this terrible situation. We have Governor Tim Walz weighing in, posting a statement on X saying, "I've been briefed on a shooting at the Annunciation Catholic School and will continue to provide updates as we get information. The BCA and State Patrol are on scene. I'm praying for our kids and teachers whose first week of school was marred by this horrific act of violence." It's nothing short of horrific. And no kid should have to deal with this. Senator Amy Klobuchar also weighing in. She called into CNN to, and wait for it, she called into CNN to blame Republicans for this mass shooting.
It, of course, makes me think about guns and all the work we've done to ban these automatic rifles and to do something when it comes to the background checks and everything, and we keep getting thwarted. We were able to pass a limited measure on a bipartisan basis, but not enough to stop something like this. And it just makes you think about that as well without knowing the details about how he got the gun, if the gun was legal, what kind of gun it was. But it was clearly one of these automatic rifles to be able to shoot that many kids so fast.
It was clearly an automatic rifle? Clearly? The police actually said it was a semi-automatic, which is one trigger pull, one bullet, and a shotgun and a pistol, and he was firing all three during the attack. Like, if she doesn't have the details, why would you go on TV and start pointing fingers at Republicans? And I'm also sorry, if a lunatic wants to do evil, he'll find an instrument to commit evil with. If there was no guns in this country, he'd find a truck. Like, we've seen this story so many times. Yet Amy Klobuchar calls into CNN to blame Republicans for not passing better, gun safety laws? Is that what we're getting? For not banning firearms? Automatic weapons in this country are already incredibly difficult to get. But Amy Klobuchar says that Republicans caused this by getting in the way of common sense gun laws. This is ridiculous. She said it was an automatic. It wasn't an automatic rifle. It wasn't. We know that. Again, Amy Klobuchar moments ago calling into CNN.
It, of course, makes me think about guns and all the work we've done to ban these automatic rifles and to do something when it comes to the background checks and everything, and we keep getting thwarted. We were able to pass a limited measure on a bipartisan basis, but not enough to stop something like this.
How do you know it wasn't enough to stop something like this? How do you know that what you were trying to pass could have stopped something like this? You don't know how the shooter obtained the weapons. Now, you clearly don't know what weapons were used in the shooting. You're just using this as an opportunity to politically grandstand. Like every good Democrat, never let a crisis go to waste. It's 11:30. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
$11:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Drivers, we've got a crash over here on the South Loop. It is eastbound there at 4th Avenue. South Loop eastbound at downtown. That's at 4th Avenue, exit 210C. Full forecast coming up in 5 minutes.
This is a special report from ABC News. Sources say at least 2 people have died and at least a dozen more are in the hospital after a gunman opened fire at Annunciation Catholic School in Minneapolis this morning. Clarissa Garcia is a student there and was in the school's church when the shooting started.
I was just at church and I heard something like really loud, like I thought it was fireworks in the church. And then I saw the shooting, and then I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so scared. And so a teacher laid me downstairs.
Authorities believe the suspect died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. ABC News contributor and former NYPD Chief Robert Boyce tells us what investigators are now looking into.
Through social media, through possibly some kind of information on him or his home, hit that home and find out exactly what I mean. Go through the door and start searching the home and find out exactly what was going on.
President Trump says he has been briefed on the incident, calling it a terrible situation. Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
Stay with Super Talk 99.7 WTN for continuing coverage. We've got updates online, on air, and we'll break in when necessary. The parents of a California teenager who died by suicide are suing the company behind ChatGPT. In a first-of-its-kind case, the family claims the chat bot helped the 16-year-old take his own life. Here's ABC's Rhiannon Alley.
Maria Rain claiming after the death of her son Adam back in April, the family found months of his conversations with ChatGPT. They claim the chatbot went from helping Adam with homework to eventually becoming a suicide coach, according to the lawsuit. In response, OpenAI says it is deeply saddened by Adam's death and has safeguards in place.
That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
So Trump announced today he's federalizing D.C. police to put an end to violent crime in Washington, D.C. Naturally, leftists are losing their mind and completely unhinged.
We believe there is a better way to protect us all. One that respects rights to build trust and keep our communities truly safe, and that is fascism-free.
Free of what?
That is fascism-free.
Fascism-free? Fascism-free. Oh, okay, hang on one second. Hey, Brooks, come here. F-A-S-C-I-S-M.
Fascism?
Correct, fascism. I didn't mean to turn this into an ad for homeschooling versus public schooling, yet here we are.
Maybe she should have proofread that.
It's 11:36 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Show is brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Normally at this time we'll do the lightning round. We're gonna forego that today and stay with the breaking news, which is the Annunciation Church shooting in Minneapolis, Minnesota, where we're still not learning the identity of the shooter. Ken, have you seen anywhere where they're identifying this shooter? Because I can't find it.
The only thing I have is what the chief said, is that he was a male in his 20s.
So here's the thing, and this is just something I've noticed. The longer they go without identifying the shooter, the less likely it's going to be a white male. They always delay this when it happens to be a transgender shooter or a Muslim shooter. But if it was a white male, they would have had that on the news and in the press conference right away, because we understand how the media works. We do. And I do begin to start to wonder if this was targeted specifically because it was Christians gathered. And I think that you can make the argument that this could have been the case. And it's something that I'm leaning towards. The longer we go without identifying the shooter, they saw him. They know exactly who it is. They're not making it public. That's a red flag to me. Anytime that happens, it's a red flag. Benny Johnson on X moments ago. Enough. Christianity is the most persecuted religion on earth. End of story. It's not even close. Christians are being hunted, terrorized, slaughtered simply for our faith in Jesus Christ, and these attacks are getting worse. It's past time for Christians to defend themselves, hardening places of worship. I want state and federal protection for targeted Christians, federal hate crime designations for all attackers, and FBI task force. He says the data is clear. Here's a short list of deadly attacks on Christians in just the past few years. 2025 so far, 3,500 Christians killed for their faith, thousands of churches attacked or closed, millions displaced. 2024, 4,000 Christians killed for their faith, around 7,000 churches attacked or closed, 200,000 displaced. 2023, 4,000 Christians killed for their faith, 14,000 churches attacked or closed, 295,000 displaced. 2022, 5,000 Christians killed for their faith, over 5,000 churches attacked or closed. This is a war on Christianity until new information proves otherwise. The longer they go without identifying the shooter, the more I believe that this was an attack on Christians because they're Christians. That's just my opinion. It's just my opinion. But I have the pattern recognition of many other mass shootings, and if it happens to be an evil white male, they tell you right away. If it happens to be a transgender shooter, you got to find out on your own. If it happens to be a Muslim, it's hang on, let's not jump to conclusions. Every time. Benny Johnson continues on X. Just a short recap of recent hate crimes against Christians in America. Wayne, Michigan, Cross Point Community Church, shooter taken down by heroic security guard. 150 people were in the church at the time. Do you remember that video? I remember that video, and I wonder why there wasn't armed security at this church. I think that maybe this could have been resolved a lot quicker. Instead of the shooter taking his own life, a hero could have taken it for him. But yet he took the coward's way out. But you can go on down the list, and I'll retweet this on my X account, at Chris Hand on Air, so you can find this for yourself. It's a list of about 20 different attacks on Christians throughout the country and throughout the world. Christianity is the most persecuted religion. Were these kids targeted because they were Christian? The longer they go without telling us, the more I think that that's the case. It's just me. It's just me. And we know this personally, right? With what happened at Covenant. We understand this intimately here in the Nashville area. We do. But the longer they go without telling us, the more nefarious I think the reasons are. Benny Johnson says these attacks are not slowing down, they're escalating. Churches are being burned, priests murdered, families slaughtered, Christians are under siege, and if we do not speak up, history will mark our silence as complicity. It's true. It's true. We're combing through all the data, all of the news reports, all of the details, and we're trying to bring you the latest as it becomes available. It's a heartbreaking story. The shooter has been released. Shooter's photo has been released. You put this up on the screen? Minneapolis church shooter's photo has been released. Name is reportedly Robin Westman. So maybe not Muslim, but is this a transgender individual? It's worth asking the question. Were these kids targeted because they're Christian? It's worth asking the question. Robin Westman. Robin Westman. If you're watching us on YouTube, the Minneapolis Catholic Church shooter's photo has been released. The name is reportedly Robert Westman. Interesting. The shooter appears to be white. Is the shooter transgender? That's the next question. Amy Klobuchar moments ago saying that's not really part of the question. The real question here is why Republicans keep getting in the way with good gun control laws.
It, of course, makes you think about guns and all the work we've done to ban these automatic rifles and to do something when it comes to the background checks and everything. And we keep getting thwarted. We were able to pass a limited measure on a bipartisan basis, but not enough to stop something like this. And it just makes you think about that as well without knowing the details about how he got that gun, if the gun was legal, what kind of gun it was. But it was clearly one of these automatic rifles to be able to shoot that many kids so fast.
Yeah, well, clearly Amy Klobuchar just went on the news and started making political points because that's what Democrats do. They don't let a crisis go to waste. Had she waited for information, she would have heard the police chief saying it was not an automatic weapon. It never was. Spoiler alert. It was 3 firearms, a rifle, a shotgun, and a pistol. This is the police chief moments ago during his press conference, laying it all out there, what the shooter was armed with, how he attacked the church, and so on.
The question was he firing one weapon? We believe he had fired all 3. He had a rifle, a shotgun, and a pistol.
Was this limited to license to conceal and carry?
Were the weapons, was he lawfully carrying the weapons? I don't have that information. And I don't have any information on any significant criminal history either.
Was he dressed at all in any actual type of gear?
It appeared he had some black clothing on, his cargo type pants.
3 firearms, a rifle, a shotgun, and a pistol. Was firing all 3 throughout the incident. We also learned that there were 2x4s placed on a side door and an apparent barricade. That's kind of what it looks like. It looks like he barricaded the doors closed so that way no one could escape. At least that's what we think currently. As new information becomes available, we reserve the right to update the story. But it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking nonetheless. And as more updates become available, we're going to bring them to you right now. Ken Weaver is in the newsroom. Again, gunmen trap praying students, staff inside the church by barricading doors, police say. Ken, what are you learning about the victims currently? Have we had any more casualties added to the 3 that we know of?
No, still the same. An 8-year-old and a 10-year-old were killed. The age of the others, I'm not sure of, but only that the 8-year-old and 10-year-old have been killed, 17 others injured, and then the gunman dying by what police say they believe was a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
Heartbreaking. They're saying that the suspect behind the mass shooting at the Annunciation Catholic School in Minneapolis was carrying a smoke bomb during the incident. We both took note of that during the press conference with police. Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara said the suspect, a man in his early 20s, had an improvised explosive device that he placed at the school. The bomb squad looked at that, and O'Hara said the device was sort of a firework that would release smoke. It was a smoke bomb, dispelling the rumors that had been running rampant that he did have a bomb on him. It's unclear if the suspect was able to detonate that device before taking his own life. But you're getting a lot of photos and a lot of heartbreaking scenes of just parents rushing to their children after this. And it's like a mixed bag. There's a lot of grief and there's a lot of joy. And it's a weird contrast in the photos. You know, you got parents that are so overjoyed to see and hold their children, understandably so. And then you got other parents that are looking around, still waiting to be reunited, and the look of grief and uncertainty on their faces, it's heartbreaking, man. And again, as a dad with 3 young kids in school, these situations, they're a reality. We wish it wasn't in this country, but it is. It is. The Democrats will say that we need to give up our guns to make our schools safer. I think the opposite is true. I think we need more armed security at our schools. And I know the school that I send my children to, security is a very important aspect of where we chose to send them. And I would wish any shooter the best of luck, because I know that my kid's school is armed to the teeth. That's very important in this day and age. It shouldn't be the case. It shouldn't, but it is. It is. Again, we're following this out of Minneapolis. We do know 2 children have been killed, 8 and 10 years old. Just heartbreaking. 1 other death has been confirmed. 17 others injured in this mass shooting. And the shooter took the coward's way out, taking his own life. We are learning that the shooter is what appears to be a man by the name of Robin. It is Robin. Excuse me. Sorry, guys. We're getting all this information real fast. Robin Westman. And we're also learning that on the Minneapolis Church Shooters magazine, Robin Westman, it reportedly read, "Kill Donald Trump." There's apparently a video going around of this guy reading out of his diary, saying something along the lines of, "There are bugs in my skin," repeatedly. If you're watching us on the YouTube stream, you can see the picture of "Kill Donald Trump," "Rip and Tear" written on the magazine of this unhinged lunatic. That's what this person is. It's an unhinged lunatic. Like, while the Democrats are going to line up to blame Republicans, I'm not going to blame the Democrats on an unhinged lunatic. Maybe their rhetoric helped influence them, but an unhinged lunatic is an unhinged lunatic. But on his magazine was written the words, "Kill Donald Trump." That's making its way around Twitter. Again, if you're watching us on the YouTube stream, you'll see a photograph of the shooter, Robin Westman. If you're on the FM dial, I'm retweeting this on my Twitter account now, so you can see it for yourself, at Chris Hand on Air. And we'll be continuing to provide you updates on this devastating situation out of Minneapolis as they become available right here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Elon Musk's privately funded tunnel from downtown BNA.
The most cutting-edge transit systems in the world.
They call it the Music City Loop. We call it the BNA hole.
We've submitted a list of questions, and so we're looking forward to the opportunity to get answers.
Questions like, how does a tunnel work? Or how can I be the biggest a-hole in the room without even trying? Because clearly, the fiscally responsible thing to do is to keep traffic backed up until every driver becomes an a-hole. The BN a-hole. Zero cost to the taxpayers, and that's the real problem for the left.
I kind of think that's on brand.
Not enough opportunity to play tax collector a-hole. The BN a-hole, where progress goes to upset liberals. It's 11:54, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, you get those at betterwater.com. We're following the breaking news out of Minneapolis. I'm joined down live in the studio, 10 Music Circle East, is our friend Chad Benson. What's up, Chad?
What's happening, brother? How's it going?
I'm good, man. Are you paying attention to the goings-on in Minneapolis?
I have been paying a lot of attention to the goings-on.
Now, I just retweeted a photo on my X account, at Chris Hand on Air, a picture of the shooter and a picture of the shooter's magazine, which said, "Kill Donald Trump."
Yeah.
Does this shooter appear to you to be trans? Because I'm having a hard time looking at the photo of this guy and thinking that he doesn't identify as trans.
I'm hearing that. You know what's funny? When I started hearing who the shooter was, if you go... I've seen everything from a guy who's a Somali that lives there to a white nationalist to another trans shooter to a guy that was an altar boy with a Russian name to this Robin person. And you're just like, this is the chaos that is modern world that we live in.
Yep. So I mean, there's a lot of people that want to be first and not worry about being right.
Yeah, they don't care about being right. Now, that person definitely, that's what they're saying, is a trans individual. And there's a manifesto and there's a video.
I wonder if we're going to get the manifesto quicker than we got the Nashville shooter.
Well,
manifesto.
I think the difference is this manifesto's already out there. Set it up that way, had a video as well, supposedly. Again, you never know anymore in this day and age.
Yeah, I've heard reports of the video where the individual just seemed deranged, talking about bugs in their skin.
Yeah, the person's deranged. Whoever's in the video, if this is indeed the person, has mental illness of the highest order. And a lot of weapons.
A lot of weapons. Senator Amy Klobuchar went on CNN before she knew what was happening and said this was clearly an automatic rifle. Why are the Democrats doing this? Why do they always jump out front and blame conservatives when something like this happens, as opposed to, I don't know, the kind of medication that this individual might have been on?
Or the lack of medication. Or the fact that this person got how old? 22? Where does anybody know anything about this person? If this is indeed the person, was there any signs that this person was twisting out of control with bugs in their skin?
Yeah. I mean, all the reports I'm seeing is that it is that person, Robin Westman, that this is the Minneapolis school shooter, and that this person does appear to be trans.
Yeah. So that's what it looks like. And so, now, of course, the question's going to come about, but mental illness. I mean, this person, whoever this person is, in mental illness, there's no doubt. I mean, first of all, the insane stuff written all over the gun, not just about Trump, but everywhere. And the manifesto, too, it's got just insane stuff inside of it. Makes no sense.
What are you seeing from the manifesto? I haven't seen that yet.
Well, the manifesto, so you can blow it up. The she, shim, him, they, them, just turn in the page and you can stop it and blow it up. And it's a full, it's a book, written an entire book. Also, they've got some sort of, big stick that looks like they're going to spank you. This person is completely deranged. It got a picture of a target with Jesus on it. I don't know if the person went there.
I kind of assumed this was a targeted attack against Christians, but if you say that he has a picture of Jesus with a target on it, that kind of confirms those suspicions.
Yeah.
Are we going to hold Democrats responsible for the kind of rhetoric that ramps these lunatics up, or is it no, it's not necessarily their fault?
No, this person's mental. I don't think this is not a person who is unless this person, the whole thing, and again, you got to go through the whole book, unless this person's thing was, I'm coming after Trump because of the transgender, but I don't think that's it. I think this person is obviously mentally deranged, because a lot of the stuff they're talking about even predates some of Trump, and this person is not well. You could just tell that's not well. And if the picture they have before, he looks like he was in the movie Mask, for those of you out there, and big red fro, and then he looks like something completely different. It's a trip. So we'll see. But did the kid go to school there with a guy at one time? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, these are questions that we have, and I hope that we get answers sooner rather than later. Chad's coming up next. What do you got planned for the show today, Chad?
Talk a little bit about this, no doubt about that. We got some other stuff planned as well, some economy stuff, and we'll try to have some fun, because we can do that too, because there's only so much you can do on this.
Yep. All right. Well, Chad's in next. I appreciate you guys tuning in as always. Don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, all the things. Chad's up on deck. Ken Weaver in the headline starts right now on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.